Hello and welcome to this video about opening and closing a session and some of the tools that we're going to be using in Pro Tools First. So one of the things I'm going to do first of all is open up Pro Tools First. So if I go down to my bar here, I can see my icon here, Pro Tools First. If you're on a PC, it'll most likely be an icon on your desktop. So I'm just going to double click into there and I've got Pro Tools First open up here. And I'm going to go File, Create New, because I haven't got a session open yet, so I need to create a new one. I'll click into there, and we see here with our dashboard window open. Now, I've got it clicked on Create, because I need to create this session, but you could have it open, and any of your sessions that you would have would be there, ready for you to click on and open. I'm going to create this one, and I'm going to call it Connor, if I can spell my name correctly, A-L-P-H-A, Alphabet. And I pretty much can't spell that correctly at all. Connor Alphabet. We'll see why in a minute. Now, what I don't want to do is click from template. If I click on here, it gives you these options. Now, we are going to be using simple sessions at the start that we set up and create from blank so that we will then know what we've done to the session. If I click on any of these, it will open up, for instance, some funk. It will open up a guitar track, a drum track, singer track, etc. And it will have lots of effects put onto those tracks, which would work if we're doing electronica or funk, etc., but we're not going to be doing that, so we don't want to have any of those effects. There is a podcasting option here, but what we'll be looking to do is more learn about what the effects are and how we put it on ourselves so that we don't have to rely on the session to do that for us, as we're much more learning about the process here. So I'm going to have it as not from template, Connor Alphabet. Now we can see up here, there's my little icon, Connor Wright, storage 1%, and I've got here 0 of 3 projects. With Pro Tools First, we're only allowed to have 3 projects open at a time. It is free software, you've got some amazing effects and plugins, etc. So it's not it is not ununderstandable. I'm sure there's an easier way to say that we don't have everything available to us. So we've got 0 of 3 projects. This will be the first one, then it'll turn to 1. But what we can do is once we've finished our project, export it out, we can then delete that project, or we can go back into that project and just open up more tracks and redo in a different section of the session. But we'll come to that whenever we have to do a new session. So I've named it, and all I'm going to do is go Create. Now I've got a backup in the cloud. We can click that. It helps us. It doesn't do anything for us. It doesn't do anything against us. So we can have that clicked. And I'm going to hit Create. And it's going to hopefully create our session for us. And here it is, creating our project. Now, it'll open up with this window about artist chat, etc., things like that. We don't need to worry about that. We can shut that down. So here we have our edit window for our Alphabet session. Now, don't worry if your window opens up looking like this. Okay, this is what we call the mix window. And this, once we have a lot of tracks put in, will look much more like a digital mixing desk. If it opens up like this, you simply go Window, Edit. That's all we're doing. This is the window we'll be using much, much more. Okay, and what I might just do is go back into here and just hit the red button there to delete that session. So I've just got my Edit, Connor Alphabet window open. If your mix window stays open, it doesn't make any difference at all. I just like it to be a bit tidier. So what we've got here are our shuffle and slip and spot and grid modes. This is about to look at placing audio in the timeline and doing edits and what will happen to that audio after you do those edits. We've got our zoom tools, trim, waveform indicator, and our grabber tool. We won't worry about the pencil. We've got here our timeline, minutes and seconds. We've got our counters here. We don't need to worry about those. We don't need to worry about our MIDI counters or track, our conductor track here. But what we will be using are these tools: stop, play, and record. Back to the start, rewind, forward to the end. And this counter here, which will be our monitor levels, our output meter path. What we've also got here is our timeline. We can see here starting at 0 and going all the way up. And this will go on for hours if we wanted to, but we will not be going that far. We've got markers, meters, and tempos here. We won't really be using these, particularly not in the first semester. So what I want to do is I want to import in some audio. So I go File and Import. And here is my import window. Now I have my audio stored here, Alphabet Disorganized. But obviously you could bring it in from a memory stick, cloud storage, anywhere like that. But there's mine sitting on the desktop. And I'm going to go Open. And here it is brought in. Now, I'm just going to make it look a little bit bigger. So if you see where the hand tool is, see where it hovers over on the track, just that little change into a line. I'm going to bring this down and then use a zoom here, just at a normal zoom, and just click in there to zoom in. So here I've now got my audio. I'm going to use my indicator tool to drop in, and I can drop in anywhere I want in there. So there's our audio. We've got solo, so that will solo the track. So it'll be the only track you hear. Mute, obviously that will mute the track, so you won't be able to hear the track at all. And now here we've got a little track put monitor. We won't be using this at the minute, just like we won't be using the record button here, because we're not going to be recording anything onto the track just yet. We'll cover that in another session. So let's have a listen to the audio. So I can click in here and I can go to my play button. And here it is playing. We'll notice the timer clicking down here. This is it representing going along the timeline. And we can hear the audio. So basically this is a digital representation of me saying the alphabet. And what I can do is, by using the zoom tool, I can click and hide over here. And here we can see our audio back into our waveform indicator. Click and hold and drag. And hit play. And indeed, that is me saying the letter R, my best parrot impersonation. Okay, let's zoom back out. So I click on my zoom tool. Notice there, it's got the plus. What I'm going to do is simply hit my Alt key on the Mac, and it will bring it right back to our normal. And here we have all the letters of the alphabet. Now we're going to come back to this in the next video. But basically what I can then do is just simply hit File, Save, and now that's our session saved. And I can even close it down, and that is how you would import in, use some of the tools to use on Pro Tools first.